How you guys doing? Welcome to the Santa Anita Pick Six preview as we have a carryover Thursday. We got a special racing Thursday and we got a carryover. It's just so exciting, and it's Kentucky Derby weekend. There's so much excitement going on. I love it. I'm here with two guys that are going to help us get that pick six so we have some money for the Kentucky Derby. Skip, how you doing?
Giorgio, I'm doing great. The Kentucky Derby is on Saturday. The Oaks is Friday. We got the big carryover tomorrow. This is a good time for us horse players.
It sure is. Frank, welcome to the show. I love your background. That long painting in the back. What is that one? What is that?
Well, first of all, Giorgio, it's been a minute, so I'm so happy to be here, and I appreciate you having me on the show. That right there is it's a print of the Peb mural at Del Mar.
Oh, Peb. Oh, man. The mural at Del Mar.
Yeah, the big giant mural when you walk into the clubhouse and you go inside. It's the big mural that's on the wall right to the right. They did a limited edition many, many, many years ago. I think 300 of them. And I absolutely had to get it because Peb, used to do all the cartoons on the front page of the Daily Racing Form. And then everything else here, I wish I could take credit for it, but this is the executive producer of my show, Double Trouble Live, Terry Marconi. She is responsible for all of this colorful stuff. So thanks for noticing.
It looks nice. Great. Tell us more about Double Trouble Live.
Yeah. Santa Anita was the first racetrack to implement retail player-friendly bets, low takeout, high minimums. You have the $3 all turf, the $3 late pick three, and the $5 late double. And our show, Double Trouble Live, is built around playing those wagers. So it's not your traditional handicapping show because we have a lot of smart guys in there and gals who have already done the work. And we actually go live during the races and we gamble. We talk wagering strategies, ticket construction. Cool. We look at will pays. We look at probables. We see where the sneaky money is, and we try to pivot and actually play like we were a bunch of friends together at the racetrack. DoubleTroubleLive.com will take you to our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Believe me, it is a fun and entertaining show. If you can't be at the track with your friends, this is the next best thing. And these bets are phenomenal. They always pay more than the equivalent win parlay, and the low takeout gets you more money back, so you stay in the game longer and you keep churning and churning until you hit that big score.
I love it. That's fantastic. I'm going to certainly delve into looking into that. It's certainly worth a look in. All right, so let's go right into the races. We've got a $44,000 plus carryover on a Thursday card. We usually don't even have a Thursday card, so it's really exciting. First race is 5.5 furlong, low level, claiming $5,000. Skip, I'm going to start with you. Who do you like in this race?
Well, first and foremost, like we were talking before we went on air, Frank said that he wouldn't be surprised for a double carryover, nor would I. This is a really tough sequence.
Nor would I. You're right.
Tough sequence, but let's see what happens. Maybe we could get lucky and take this down. Race 4, I'm going to start off with a couple here. And not any surprises. I'm going to try to just get out of here light. But what I will do before I give out my picks is, since it's the first leg of the pick six, you always got to maybe go down to the paddock if you're there, or even if you're not, make sure you're watching these on TV or wherever you're at. See if, how the horses you like are doing. Maybe you could add one if one looks good that you don't have on your ticket, or maybe you could subtract one that you have on your ticket that's washed out, or just, you don't like the way that it looks on the track. So always be aware of that. But that being said, I'm not going to go any surprises here. I almost wanted to single the 8, Falabella, but, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to use it. I think breaking from the outside, I love that. These are Losal connections. Obviously, it's coming from Losal. It does have a race over at Santa Anita. It didn't run good. That was for 10,000. This is for 5. The horse likes to win. 16 starts, 5 wins, 4 seconds, and a third. The 8's going to be on my ticket. Another one I'm going to use is the one that likes Santa Anita that is dropping down in class, and that's the 6, Harney Lane. This horse has 4 starts over Santa Anita, 2 wins and a second. It's dropping in class. It's second off the break, and I'm going to probably use both of them, but maybe if one looks better than the other, maybe I'll take a stand and single because, boy, the later part of the card is very, very tough.
All right. 8-6, maybe using more because it is a tough card moving forward, I think. Frank, who do you like in race number 4?
I am very similar to Skip. I think the obvious ones and must uses are the 8 and also the 6. Even money on the 8, though, is a little scary to me because we're dealing with 5-dime claimers, fillies, and mares, right? So these are not the most reliable animals on the track, but the 8 should absolutely run well in this spot. Same thing with Harney Lane. I really like the drop. Tamayo is a very smart, shrewd trainer, did really good work up north, has some horses down here. If this horse runs back to any of those races last year, that horse is going to be super tough. I also like the ownership group, Frankly Speaking. That's the name of a column that I actually write for In the Money Media, Frankly Speaking. So, the sentimental play as well. But I'm going to name one other horse for people to consider, and that's number 4, Seize the Image. Because I think Seize the Image and Harney Lane look very similar if you go back to last year. Because at one point, Seize the Image actually beat Harney Lane. I know the horse was DQ'd for a violation, but they were competitive together. The form doesn't look all that pretty this year for Seize the Image, but I think she's great value. She's improved every race since coming back off a long layoff. That was a much tougher group last time. And I know she finished last of 4, but she wasn't disgraced. It wasn't like she was beaten 12 lengths or anything. She tried. She gets the 5-pound weight break. If you look 2 back in that $5,000 claimer at Los Al, that was 4.5 furlongs, and she was just getting going, and the race ended. So I think 5.5 will hit her right between the eyes. And at the price she's likely to be, I think that's another one you might want to include. Hopefully I can get out 8, 6, 4. And hopefully Skip's got a single or 2 for me later because I couldn't find one race to really plant the flag in.
Frank, it was tough. I might have to single the last leg, but not because I want to, just because it was tough to find one. That's why in this first leg, I'm going to really look at these horses really good on the track.
Yeah.
And if I see something that I like, maybe I'll take a stand and single the first leg because that's the race we have the edge with seeing the horses. So we'll see, but it's tough to single a $5,000 claimer, but that's why it's so important to look at these on the track.
There's some great bets that you mentioned, Frank, earlier, like the Coast to Coast Pick 5 and the Sunset Pick 6, where they have races from one track and another track, 2 different tracks. So I like the fact that our pick 6, we've got a Los Al race to start the day, which is great. Because it's like everybody in that race is a Los Al horse, right? It's like I'm looking at a Los Al race, and boy, all the connections are Los Al. This is like a coast to coast, whatever. This is a race where it's just a Los Al race, and I think you guys mentioned it that it gets harder as we move along.
Yeah.
To me, I'm singling Falabella because, just looks stellar to me. Closed well in that 1,000-yard race. Likes to win, which, for 5,000 to be as consistent as this one has been in the last 7 starts is unusual for consistency when you talk about a $5,000 race. So I feel it doesn't matter if one of your singles is 3 to 5s. You just have to hit the pick 6. It's hard enough to hit the pick 6. So don't be scared off by, I don't want to single a 3 to 5 shot. That's okay, because later on we're going to get some prices. I know it. So I am going to single Falabella in my pick 6. Race number 5, 6 furlongs. we move to the turf. $25,000 race on the turf, and we'll start with you, Frankie. Who do you like in this race?
Yeah, again, I'm not super duper clever here. Although I'm going to take a small stand against number 4, Cloudy Women. I will absolutely use her on some of my tickets, but my top pick in here is number 3, Preem. I think she's going to run a good one today. She's cutting back. She tried to wire them last time, going a mile. She was favored at the level. She just got tired. Okay, I can forgive that. Michael McCarthy runs her right back for 25K, right? Doesn't drop her, runs her back at the same level. But now he shortens her up and he takes off the hood. And, that is just like as sensible of a move as possible based on the way this horse has performed. So if I do end up using a couple in that first leg and want to single early, I might consider singling the number 3 Preem. But the other ones to consider, and I won't go into too much detail about them, but number 6, Deep Blue. I love Victor Garcia as a trainer. I think he had a plan when he took this horse for 10 and now moves the horse up and puts the horse on turf. So that horse is a contender to me. Obviously, number 4, Cloudy Women, the 6-5 morning line favorite. No real knocks against her, but I don't think she is materially better than the other 2 that I mentioned. And then I'd be curious to see if one of you guys has anything to say about the 2, because that is one of the craziest claims and moves that I've ever seen. I mean, Jonathan Thomas, who's one of the best turf trainers around, claims this horse for like 10 and then promptly runs the horse in a graded stakes race and now drops back in for a tag, but 25, not the level of the claim, 10. So I wasn't sure what to do with that horse. If I'm going super spready, I might include the 2, but based on what I do in the first leg, like Skip said, if one looks good or if there are market signals that, one horse could be singled in that first leg, I could spread here. If not, I'll use my 3 in the first leg and try to plant a flag with number 3, Preem. But I don't feel super confident about it. I'll tell you that.
All right. Another a race where you pretty much have to use some numbers. I'm going to be using the 3, 4, and 6. I'm not using the 2 at all. I thought it was poor judgment to put him in a grade 3, and I still think it's poor judgment to keep him at 25. I think this is not a good filly. Good luck, Jonathan Thomas. I respect you immensely, but this filly's not going to be winning any graded stakes races.
They're going to have to sprout wings to catch her.
Yeah, they have to sprout wings and a firecracker in his butt and all kinds of things. Anyway, I am definitely using my second choice in this race is number 1, Cooling Off. Number 1, Cooling Off, first race ever on the turf. Her best race by far against QQ Ride, who I like, Quantum Energy. Those are some tough customers. And at the top of the stretch, she looked like she had a shot at 133 to 1. She really looked like she was going to be competitive. And then she got tired. That was a really difficult field. And so get some time off, goes to Felix Gonzalez, who's doing really good. He's winning at 20%. I'm not leaving off a 15-1 shot that just worked a bullet on April 8th. It's going to a trainer who's hot, who ran the best race of her life ever on the turf against tough competition. I got to use number 1, Cooling Off in my pick 6s for sure, but it's a spread race. 1, 3, 4, 6. I think they could all win. Skip, how do you see race number 5?
I'm going to definitely use the 2. Jonathan Thomas doesn't claim a lot, but when he does, he means business. Not only did he claim it, he claimed it for himself. I don't know what he was thinking putting in the grade 3 Wilshire. I guess I think we did a show and maybe it was a rabbit that day. Well, it didn't make the lead. It was a length off, but anyways, puts it in a more realistic spot. That's a big trainer change. Nothing against Bill McLean. He does okay, but Jonathan Thomas, I mean, that's a huge trainer upgrade. So the 2 is going to be on my ticket. I like Preem, probably the best 2. I love the blinkers off. I love cutting back in distance. Michael McCarthy, he does a great job. The 4, I'm going to use, but I don't really like this horse. It's not a win machine, not that any of these are, but this horse has raced 12 times, 1 win. Last time the claim was voided. They gave it a little time after that. It comes back. Sadler Transit, Camaro is going to ride it. 4 is going to be on my ticket, and I'm going to use Deep Blue also. Like Frank said, I think when Victor claimed this horse, he had a plan. He does a good job, and maybe he was thinking turf all along. Whatever he was thinking, he does very good when he claims 33% first out and turf sprints 30%. So I think this was his plan. So I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, and 6, and hopefully we'll beat the 4. Giorgio, when I come back and play my pick 5, I will put your 1 on the pick 5. How about that?
All right. I'll put your 2 in my pick 5 because, there you go. Because let me just as an aside, I got free money into this pick 6 yesterday with $1,000. I had $1,000 cash in my wallet, and I left it at Ralph's. And I went back this morning, and one of the employees like, "Oh yeah, we found your wallet." The money was in there. I was expecting goodbye. I gotta see it. I feel like I'm way ahead. I got like $1,000.
You're 1,000 up, man.
I'm 1,000 up, and we haven't even started the pick 6. So I feel great. I'm betting pick 6, pick 5. I got $1,000 to throw around.
Well, Giorgio, hats off to that employee that did that because that doesn't happen very often.
I gave her money. I gave her money.
Right. No, that was very good. It's nice to know there's some good people still out there.
So great. Anyway, all right, let's get to race number 6, halfway through the pick 6. And in this race, main and claiming 50,000, and we got 6 furlongs is the distance. And my top pick is actually number 1, Ready to Board, a first-time starter. Steve Knapp does really good with first-time starters. And when I was a jockey agent, I always liked Steve Knapp, and he wins races, man. He's winning races. I know it shows there 11%. I feel he wins more. And when he teams up with Fresu, he wins like a 25%. This one's been training well. I don't see any world beaters at all in this race. I think it's a perfect spot for a nice price, 6-1 first-time starter from a team that knows how to win and won't. Nobody in this race looks really that good. Number 2 is my second choice, and he's 8-1. He just, he lacked room. He had all kinds of issues in that last race and still almost won it. So he looks better to me than the favorite. And I guess you got to use the 9 Trojan Mafia, who drops from straight maiden, ran a good 4th against 2 comeback winners. So that one as well. But I don't know if Shady Gem. I'm going to try to beat Shady Gem and throw that one out. But my top pick is Ready to Board. How do you see race 6? Skip.
Oh boy, this could be an all button, but I don't have the money to do it.
Yeah.
It's just too big, So I'm going to have to narrow down. I do like the 2 that you had mentioned. I thought the 3, the first timer for Andy Mathis, trained well. I liked the workout on the 23rd. And you remember last meet, Andy Mathis had such a tough meet, but look, he's guns are blazing right now. He's got 8 starters, 3 wins. We knew he was too good of a trainer to have that streak continue. So here comes the real Andy Mathis now. So the 3's definitely usable. My sneaker horse right here is the 4. I did this Tom Quigley's show with Chappie when this horse ran first time out. And I said this horse, it was 20-1 on the line. This horse is training good. Keep an eye on it. It didn't run that bad that day. But since then, it was entered the other day. They scratched it. It's been gelded, first-time Lasix. And look who jumps aboard. Jaramillo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This horse has got to be live for him to be jumping aboard. I watched the workouts. The workout that came back wasn't bad, but I'm telling you, this 4 horse is live and definitely going to be on my ticket. I'm going to mention a couple other ones. I thought Dane the Great worked good for Pipey. The other Pipey, this horse is 15-1. when he drops from straight main to main claimers 44% of the time, that one might be sneaky. And then also, I got to use Trojan Mafia. So I mentioned some horses. I didn't say who I was going to use. The ones that I'm going to put on my ticket are going to be the 2, the 3, the 4, the 6, and the 9. I'm going to go Suncoast Fallacy. I'm going to go Courtside Action. My Joe Roldan, I'm not giving up. This is going to be my top play. I'm going to go Dane the Great, and I'm also going to use the Trojan Mafia. So those are the ones that I'm using.
All right. Also, just like myself, going to leave the favorite Shady Gem off the ticket. I'm going to leave him off. And my man Joe Roldan, I mean, ultimate equipment change, gets first-time LASIK. His trainer's super excellent. Every time I've seen that guy 600 times. Every time I see him, he says the words "super excellent" at one point or another during the conversation. I love that guy, Alfredo Marquez.
Super positive.
Anyway,
I love it.
we're leaving. Yeah, we're leaving Shady Gem out. Frank, what are you doing here in race 6?
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys said, but I'm going to make this race even more confusing because I'm going to throw out a horse, my top pick, who you guys didn't even mention. But to your point, though, I like all of the horses you mentioned, and I agree with you, George, that a first-time starter could absolutely win this race. And same thing with you, Skip. We talked about Mathis, absolutely could win this race. Here are my 3 A's, and 2 of them you guys already mentioned. So my second choice is Trojan Mafia. My third choice is my man, Joe Roldan. So I won't go into those because you guys already talked about them at great length. But my top pick in this race is the other Mullins horse, number 5, Colonel Slade. When I find a race as difficult as this, I look at the ages. I will always take a 4-year-old with experience, a lightly raced 4-year-old, even on the drop in a maiden race, over 3-year-olds. I still think at this time of year, that age difference is significant, especially with lower horses and fillies. I know this isn't a filly and mare race, but it's particularly strong there. I will play that angle all the way through Del Mar, actually, not religiously, but this time of year, I still think it's very strong. So Colonel Slade showed speed on the turf against much, much tougher foes last time and predictably tired. We just saw the 3rd place finisher, Jimmy Winkfield, come back and win last weekend. Yeah. Mullins has not made a misstep since the first meet started on December 26th. He's making all of the right moves. He is sending out live horses. I mean, if this horse gets out of the gate and makes the lead, it might be over before anyone else even has a chance. So I think that horse has a huge shot, but not enough to single. So my other A's are the 9 and the 4, and then my B's are the 6, Dane the Great, the 2, Sunk Cost Fallacy, and then I have number 7, Shady Gem, ranked last of those contenders. So I won't be using him on the ticket at all. I'd rather throw in the 2 first-time starters that you guys mentioned if I was spreading real deep in here. But to Skip's point, it gets super duper expensive, man. It's like tough. Yep, that's what I mean. Yep. It's a tough sequence.
Right.
Well, as you can see by our analysis, there's nobody you can throw out really. Everybody's got a chance, and they're all legitimate. Like everything everybody said was legitimate. I mean, this is one of the toughest races on the card. We're going to take a moment to break from the pick 6 and talk about the Kentucky Derby. We got so many great things going on Kentucky Derby Day at Santa Anita Park. You definitely got to be a part of it. It's going to be fun. We got, of course, great racing. We got 11 races of our own live races. We got a family fun zone where the kids can, ride a pony and make believe they're jockeys. And we've got a barbecue on the apron sponsored by Surfside. We got to get the sponsor in there. Surfside. There you go. I'll be drinking this with joy if my Kentucky Derby horse wins. And we also have a hat contest, which is always fun. We got so many cool things. And we're giving away, as you mentioned, So Happy. Not giving away, but we're offering a So Happy t-shirt. And we got special packages that include the t-shirt and admission. So go to santanita.com And we got a spectacular day lined up on Saturday. I personally am betting Renegade. I think Renegade is going to break through with that one box and finally get a win for the one box, the one post position. And I think as a closer, it's not as important. You know, he's going to go back anyway. So, I mean, I think it's not going to be that good. And so I got Renegade. Who you got in the Derby, Frank?
I haven't fully done the race yet, but I've thought all along that the Florida Derby was the strongest of the prep races. And I think any one of those top three could easily win. Commandment has done nothing wrong. I don't know why he's not getting a little bit more respect. I don't know why there were musical jockeys. Nobody wanted to ride him back. They went and rode other horses. You had Pratt, you had Ortiz. But I just think that horse has done nothing wrong. And you watch the gallop out, the horse wants to go longer. I've always liked Chief Wallaby. I'm not sure about the blinkers on move. I have to dig a little deeper into that. And I thought the Puma ran a fantastic race in defeat. Looked very much like Mage did in the Florida Derby a couple of years ago when he came back and won the Kentucky Derby. So yep. I'm going to look at the horses exiting that prep race because I believe it is the strongest. But Commandment if I had to pick one.
All right. Florida horses for Frankie. I got Renegade. Skip, do you like anybody yet?
You know, I got to do more work, but the one that's kind of catching my eye, I should say, is the Puma. I think the winner's coming out of that Derby. I've said it for a while now. I thought that race was really good, and a couple of people have come back and said, well, what do you mean it was good? They went so slow and this and that. And I said, they're right. They did go slow, and Commandment still got up. And the Puma raced 3 weeks before, breaking its maiden in the Tampa Bay Derby. That horse ran giant. He didn't think he lost that day. He thought he won the race. And then Chief Wallaby, that was the horse's third race, and he's only a head back. All those horses look good. They're doing good. I've been watching every morning at Churchill Downs. But the Puma, I really this horse has been catching my eye, and I think now it's had a little more time. The trainers had – I think he's from Venezuela. He's one of the best trainers over there. He left there to come over here because he was bored because he won everything. And he's been here. I think he's been here 10 years, and he's had 5 Derby starters. Yeah. And he's won it with Mage. Right. And this is kind of the same type of deal. And the Puma's the one that I'm leaning on right now.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll have more seminars to come here at sananita.com. So we'll hear more as we get closer, who we like and so forth. All right, let's continue on with our pick 6 analysis. And we're going to race 7. We're going to start with you, Skip. This is 1 mile on the turf, option of claiming 80,000. How do you see this race?
Okay, I'm going to try to get out of here light because the next race is awful tough to me. And the ticket with all the horses I've been mentioning, I might have to single that first race, Frank. Depending on how much is, it just. Anyways, I'm gonna go too deep in here, and possibly 3. My first one's gonna be My Perfect Wave. This horse has done really nothing wrong. Once they brought it back last year in October, it ran a good race, got beat 2 lengths, came back and broke its maiden at going a mile at Del Mar. Came back to Santa Anita, ran very nicely, won by a neck. Then they put it in the grade 3 megahertz. And I tell you what, I mean, it says in the form, inside locked room stretch. Yes, it did. That was a tough trip for this horse. I thought she was a great long shot. This 4-year-old filly was a great long shot last race. I didn't know if she could beat Thought Process, but at 26, 27 to 1, I like this horse. And I tell you what, turning for home on the turn, it's making a move, but it kind of went so fast, it ended up going wide. And then the Thought Process, just was too good. Vibes is a real good horse. Grand Sam Slide, we know how good that Calibrate is. Yeah. That was a really good race. I think dropping back down in class, getting a good trip, the 1 should be very tough in here. But my other one I'm going to use to go along with that is the one that Phil D'Amato claims. Now, you never see this, at least not too often, where Phil claims a horse. They ship, they're going for, they claimed it for 80, right? I love the connections. They obviously see something they like. Maybe they were thinking, although it hasn't won on the grass, ship out here for the grass races this summer, the end at Santa Anita. But Jaramillo jumps aboard. I saw one of the works on the 23rd, and that work was against Madacat Road. And they weren't working together, but Madacat Road was in front. And then here comes this chestnut mare coming on the inside. And it didn't get close to Madacat Road, but just considering the company, if it wasn't Madacat Road, this horse would have probably blown right by. But Madacat Road worked really good that day. I like the work. Phil D'Amato wins what, 30%, or is that 50% first off the claim? I mean, how do you not use this horse? So I'm going 1-7. All that being said,
sounds good. Good. Race number 7, Frankie. What do you talk to me about it?
I feel like I was cheating off of Skip's notes there, because I have the same 2 horses, and I'm so glad to hear about what you said about My Perfect Wave, because this is part of my write-up for my Matrix column on the Santa Anita website, and it's also a race that part of the late pick 3 sequence. So my note was, My Perfect Wave was a wise guy pick for me last time against Thought Process in the Buena Vista. So how can I not use her again today in this allowance race against, not much softer horses, but Thought Process is a beast. I mean, she is a beast.
she is.
So yeah, everything Skip said about the trips this horse has had. I like to look at come home times, DRF formulator. I look at the incremental splits. This horse has legit stakes quality come home times. I don't think there'll be a super fast pace, but there'll be enough pace for her to save ground and find a seam and just explode late. Number 1, My Perfect Wave is my top pick. I might single her because, Skip gave such a strong push as well. But my note on Janie Creed doesn't look strong on paper, but, D'Amato claimed for 80. Like Skip says, we rarely see that. And not only that, but that was in June. So,
Right.
What that form, even though it's not bad, it's kind of irrelevant because D'Amato's had all this time to work with her, right? And he brings her back protected. Doesn't drop her, doesn't run her back for the 80 optional tag, puts up Jaramillo, who has been unbelievable, especially for me. Like, he's my favorite jockey because every time I bet him, he wins. So I think that horse is super duper sneaky. And then if you wanted to use another one just from a pace standpoint, I thought number 4, Saria, would have a good forwardly placed trip, has already won at this level. I think the Monrovia was probably just a prep, sprinting off the bench, stretching out today. I mean, look at her record: 19 starts with 8 wins in 5 seconds. I mean, how cool is that? So
Cool.
these are all really good horses, but I'm looking for the one horse to step up and have that breakout race that I think Skip and I have both been expecting.
All right, so Skip likes the 1 and the 7. Frank likes the 1 and the 7. He's using 2 horses. I'm using 2 horses, but totally different than you two guys. I'm using the 7 and the 1. You see what I'm saying? You see how I did that there? Totally different. You guys are way off. You guys don't know what you're talking about. I don't understand how you got on the show. 1-7. It's 7-1. It's clearly 7-1. Anyway, if you go to Santa Anita, all my selections are there in the program on the website, and I have it 7-1. $80,000, a lot of money to plop down. And Phil D'Amato just excels, on the turf. I call him the Sultan of Sod because he's and he's just amazing 50% first off the claim. Are you kidding me? I mean, and this is live. He's no Jonathan Thomas. He didn't claim this one for 80,000 and then put him in the Breeders' Cup Classic. This is a logical. He's gonna do really well in this race. So I like it 7-1. I don't think anybody else. I'm not using anybody else. Those are the two right there. All right, Frank, we're gonna go to you for race number 8. $10,000 claimer, 5.5 furlong. Really, another difficult race, in my opinion. What do you think, Frank?
You said it, Giorgio. Extremely difficult, which is why, even though I think the top few morning line choices are extremely logical and can certainly win, I'm going to try to price shop a little bit in here just because I don't see much really separating these horses. My top pick is number 2, Cloudy Rose, a 4-year-old. Clearly, she has some physical issues, so she's tough to rely on. But this is a massive drop in class. Victor Garcia, I mentioned him earlier, very good old school horseman. I think if he can get her back to that maiden breaker where she was super sharp and ran a big fig for this level, she could certainly win against this group, on the class drop alone. Number 8, Only Reputation, 5-year-old mare, hasn't been able to beat Lesser at Losal, which I don't really like, but Hansen had a very good opening weekend to the Hollywood meet. I think his horses are live. We talked about barns heating up at certain times. They go through cycles. I think he's been pointing to this meet, and he also had a good classic meet as well. But I don't know. I just think this horse is alive. I think she's sitting on a big race. But more importantly, I just think she's going to get a good stalking position. And if you look at her only win, it came from sort of a, tracking and pouncing type. And then I'm going to throw one long shot out there. The horse is probably as likely to finish last as she is to win. But number 7, Dustin 2, 3-year-old, just broke her maiden against her own age group. It was the caliber at 50K level, and it came back super slow from a figure perspective. But I think that race is faster than it looks because I use racing flow numbers, and she is what's called a flow upgrade. So in other words, her early splits were so much faster than usual for that level, and she never quit. She still ended up winning. I know it was a slow finishing time, so that's why the figure's so low, but horses typically improve in their next starts as flow upgrades. Now we're dealing with very low-level horses here, so she's also very likely to bounce, but I think at 8-1 in a field where, no one really catches my eye, she might be worth, a little bit of action if you're looking for a price horse in this race.
I think you should be looking for a price horse in this race because, as Winston Churchill said, this race is a riddle wrapped up in a mystery inside of enigma. It's a total conundrum. So many wild cards in this race. I have no idea, zero idea. You got horses dropping from 25, got horses moving up from breaking maiden 20. You got it's a mishmash of horses. Use as many as you like. I like the 3, the 4. I don't like anybody. I like the 3, the 4. I don't like anybody. Skip, help me.
Boy, I don't know if I can help you too much, but I'll try. 2's going to be on the ticket. You mentioned the 3 just now, Giorgio.
Yeah.
Savannah's Big Girl, have to use. Broke its mane coming off the break. Last time checks shuffled early. Troubled trip. Throw that race out. Drops it back to more realistic spot. Karushi Kimura jumps back aboard. Molly Jensen, the 4. The trainer doesn't have a lot of starters, but doesn't do too bad. You know what I mean? No. So I got to put the 4 on the ticket. Going back, it won its main, at Santa Anita with a pretty good figure, faster than most of these.
Yep.
So the 4 is going to be on my ticket. And then I got to use the 6. Miyagi owns and trains this horse coming off a break. It's got a couple little gaps in the workouts, which that's why I kind of wanted to go a little deeper than I originally planned to do. But February 22nd, May 2nd, or March 2nd, that's okay. But then from March 2nd to March 21st, that's missing the work in there. I just think maybe this horse isn't ready. Maybe it's too good and can just win, but I'm not going to single it. I'm going to use that one also. And I might have to use the 7 after Sure Shot mentioned that one. So I'm going to throw the 7 in too. The ticket's getting awful expensive. I guess I am going to be singling that last race.
If we use all of our selections, it's going to cost like $5,000. We could take that money and buy a horse out of the first leg for $5,000.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we better hit this thing because there goes our Kentucky Derby money, right?
Oh no, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And,
I wanted to pace myself, and here we are, talking about a very difficult $2 pick 6 carryover sequence, which is so exciting but so challenging at the same time.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because last weekend I said, listen, the Derby's in 2 weeks. You're going to have a busy weekend. Just take it easy. Take the weekend off and do what you got to do. Get ready for the Derby. And that's what I did. And luckily I did so. But here we are. Then I find out there's a carryover. So here we are. We're going after this thing on Thursday. So
that's what we do.
See what happens.
I think I forgot who mentioned it, or maybe both of you mentioned it. That I really think there could be a double carryover.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no super standouts. Even though I know that the horse in the first leg is even money, and that Sadler's 6-5, but they don't have to win. I mean, it's tough, real tough.
It could certainly be a double carryover for sure, which takes more of my bankroll out. If there's a double carryover tomorrow, of course, I'm going to be firing that away. By the time I get to the Derby, I have $37 left of the 1,000 from Ralph's. So. Anyway, let me start out the 9th. It's the anchor leg of our pick 6. Maiden claiming 50,000 on the grass. I'm only using 2. They got the best thoroughgraph numbers. I love the thoroughgraph numbers. Certainly go to thoroughgraph.com and get some thoroughgraph sheets. To me, it's a separator. It's like, before buyer figures were on the racing form, I used to get the Racing Times to get those buyer figures. So you had a big edge over the regular fan. Now that buyer figures are in every racing form, now to me, Thoroughgraph is an edge that gives you an edge over the. So certainly get Thoroughgraphs if you can. The 2 with the best Thoroughgraph numbers are Tippy Tap for Michael McCarthy, who is just a stellar trainer, and takes the all-important drop from maiden special weight to maiden claiming, an angle that's been profitable year in and year out. Same goes for number 8, Egyptian Mistress. So you got 2 straight maiden droppers with the best thoroughgraph numbers. Those are the 2 I'm using. Skip, what about this anchor leg?
Well, this is going to have to be my single. And listen, I like this horse, but I don't have a ton of confidence. But definitely going to be my single on the pick 6 because it's too big. The 3, Tippy Tap. And here's the reasons why. I mean, you said some of them. McCarthy does a great job. He does really good all the time. But when he drops him from straight maiden to maiden claimer, as you had mentioned, first time out, did not run bad at all. Made the lead, only lost by 3 1/4 lengths. And I loved the horse coming out of there, Lilo Lil, who was a maiden and came back and won the stake. And of course, it went off at 26-1, and I didn't bet to win. And I was alive on pick 5s, singling in the pick 4, the pick 6. And guess what? I missed everything. I thought it was going to be a huge day, and that was the closing day of the last meet. And boy, it didn't turn out to be so good. But anyways, then came back last time, and it didn't run bad. It kind of was pinned inside. I know Egyptian Mistress beat it. Didn't have the cleanest of trips. Look who jumps aboard.
Jaramillo.
That's what happened with Lilo Lil. Jaramillo jumped aboard. I love that angle. That was a really good race. That Dyra that won that race, that horse is a stakes horse.
Yes.
It was a Phil D'Amato horse, right?
Right. Little red feather.
Yep.
And I didn't bet her that day. I bet Mass, the other McCarthy. And I think that horse is really good also. So I think that was a key race. And look at this. This is the topper after mentioning all that. So it races March 8th. So it works February 23rd, February 28th. It goes into the race March 8th. After March 8th, it comes back and races on the 21st. Look at the workout pattern. There was no workouts leading up to that last race. Since that last race on March 21st, it's come back to work 4 times. Hasn't missed a beat in the morning. Jaramillo jumps aboard. This is my single.
I like it. Tippy Tap is going to be his single. Frank, is he in trouble? Is he in double trouble? What kind of trouble is Skip in singling that runner?
Lots of trouble.
No. Been doing the show a long time, and I will stand by this. I know this is a reluctant single for Skip, but when Skip singles, his strike rate is pretty good, like really good. And I'm with him.
E.F. Hutton. He's like E.F. Hutton. He's E.F. Hutton.
When he talks single, you listen.
Yeah, you listen.
Yeah. No, Skip's been locked in with his singles. Usually he has more of a stronger opinion with it, but his hand's a little forced because the ticket is so big. But of all the races we mentioned, I think this is probably the best race to single in because I think that horse has a massive shot. We saw on Sunday the 9-horse Mi Confession was a McCarthy horse. He put up Jaramillo, won, was 15-1 on the morning line, ended up winning at 9-2. I had a great day because I had that horse singled on everything. So I'm going right back to the well. I think I might be with you and single that horse 3
Wow.
Tippy Tap. But I will mention one other horse if people want to go a little bit deeper. I agree with you, George. Also, Egyptian Mistress has a shot on the drop. But let's look at the 4-year-old, number 6, Winika. She's older horse against a lot of 3-year-olds. Talked about Mullins. The guy is doing nothing wrong. I know she lost as the favorite last time, but I'm going to say she may have bounced, right? Because she came off a layoff, ran a really, really good race, a winning race. Didn't win, but she ran good enough and then came back and then maybe bounced a little bit in that race. She was also a waiver claim both those times, so she was being protected. So maybe there was a world in which Mullins didn't have her fully cranked because he knew he wasn't going to lose her, right? So maybe you get a little bit of purse money, work the horse, race the horse into shape, and then now there's a little bit of a freshening because maybe he was waiting for a spot. I don't really like that layoff, but Mullins brings the horse back. I consider everything that he sends out. So if that's the kind of horse, though, I will use in my pick 3 and late double, right? Because if you can't afford to include all these horses in your pick 6 or even your pick 5, we have these low takeout wagers to end the day where you can be a little more flexible with who you use. But I think number 3, Tippy Tap, is a very solid single in what I think is one of the toughest sequences we've seen all year, actually.
Yeah, you think a Thursday card would be easy, but no, not at all. Not at all. All right. Before I go, I want to talk about my hat. Foals of Honor. FOH stands for Foals of Honor. It's a charity. It's a spectacular, wonderful charity. It provides scholarships to the children of our fallen heroes. So fallen militaries who have given their lives for our country. Foals of Honor steps in and gets scholarships, college scholarships to their sons and daughters. So it's a great organization. And we're going to have a special poker tournament on Memorial Day. So certainly look up that a chance to play. It's so great. Skip's played it. You play there with trainers. You play there with jockeys. Frank Miramati is going to be there. Ricky Gonzalez is the craziest poker player I've ever seen. And so he's going to be playing, and hopefully Jaramillo will play and everybody. So it's 100% of the money goes to Folds of Honor. Go to sananita.com and come by on Memorial Day weekend. We got a huge weekend, but on Memorial Day itself, on that Monday, right after the races, we're going to have this special poker tournament. I want to thank Chappie for helping putting this together. Gino from the Daily Racing Forum, thank you for starting this for us. And the Daily Racing Forum, of course, the Bible. I mean, that's what it's the Bible. It really is. I mean, you just can't do without it. And then I got this here on the internet. I don't know if you can see it. Well, right there. Look at that. Yeah, that's a nice. That's nice right there.
DoubleTroubleLive.com.
Double Trouble
We're actually
Live.
going to do a show on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So obviously our focus is Santa Anita, but we'll have some Oaks and Derby coverage as well. But these low takeout Santa Anita bets, I'm telling you guys, just check it out for yourself because it is such great value for the horse player. OGs like us.
Yeah. Skip, will you be drinking a Surfside if we win Thursday?
I'll be drinking a couple Surfsides if we win on Thursday.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you both, gentlemen, so much. I thought it was a very insightful seminar on a very, very difficult sequence. Good luck in the Kentucky Derby, and we'll see you at Santa Anita. Goodbye, guys.
Thanks, George.